This pro webinar midweek. You should be either a Dex Signals or a Dex Trader member, and you are here right now. You're on a very special video that we're going to be doing today. We have a very special guest with us, who we'll get into here in just a second. But I want to welcome you to the webinar today. Whether you're inside the room on the chat room or you're watching this after the fact, you're going to be able to participate in a little series we're going to do today that I want you to know is very important to us as a company. But you'll see what I'm talking about as we progress. So let's just get started. Our topics of today, we're going to be interviewing a trader, and this trader didn't know he was going to be interviewed when he agreed to come here. So I'm sort of catching him by surprise, if you will, because I want his answers to be real and unrehearsed, if you will. So it's okay. So I'm giving him a little heads up notice. He's got about 30 seconds to dial in his composure because I'm going to ask him a bunch of questions. We're also going to talk about the tools that we have at our disposal, and of course price levels. We're going to talk about XFX World.com, the news that you can use. That's going to be coming out here very shortly, and of course we'll end it off with the day with final thoughts. Before we get going, there are going to be some times, possibly during the day during the webinar, you're going to hear about certain monies being made or certain things being done and certain success rates, all that kind of good stuff. But I want you to know that it's always about educational trade assistance only, and of course, all results may vary. So, who are we going to interview? Of course, we're going to interview the one person that I have become very familiar with, Mike Ficca, Senior Level 2 Trader and Trusted Partner. Welcome, Mike, to the call.
Hey, Max, how are you?
Not too bad.
Good.
I want to thank you for joining me today. I didn't tell you that you were going to be interviewed while you were here. I wanted to.
You did not.
That for surprise. But I wanted you to be interviewed in this fashion with just a series of a couple questions, about 4 questions total.
Certainly.
And nothing too serious. I'm not going to be asking, did you steal a piece of candy when you were 6 or something like that. But I do want to ask you a couple of questions. What led you here, and we'll see how this performs for you.
Sure.
So far, from what I know about you, I don't want to give too much detail away about your life, but you were a DJ. You are still a DJ. You've been doing this for a very long time. You've been in real estate. You've been a little bit of sort of a jack of all trades kind of process. Casino. You've been doing a little bit of everything.
Right.
You've been with us since the end of last year, right? Right around, what was it? August, November, August. So middle of last year. And so roughly around 6-7 months, not a complete year yet. And you worked your way through all the training, all the systems, and you became who he is today as a trusted Senior Level 2 partner of the company. And he'd done so, I'd say, it was about 4 months that you were here that you got to that point?
Remember December. Less than that. It was probably 2 months becoming Senior Level 2, and then you made me a partner right before Christmas.
Right. The process of Mike being here today is that I want to show you the mentalities that are involved with some of the things that we're going to be talking about today in trading, and it has a little bit to do, and it will sum up to its parts here in just a moment. But Mike, I'm going to prepare you now. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
Now, everybody here can answer these questions as well. Let me see if I can pull up the form here. I think I can prove it. I think you can use this one. Let me see if I can pull it up into the room.
I will not reveal my tax returns. No.
All right. I think you can click on that link in the chat room. And if you're watching this after the fact, the video that you're watching will actually have the link to the form in there as well. So I would love for you to partake, but make sure that you're a Dex Signals or Dex Trader or Dex Indicators or a Dex member somewhere, or even if you have been at one time or another, to answer the questions. Mike, first off, the main question I want to ask you, the very beginning one, is what led you to become a trader?
I guess first, I'm a big YouTube guy, so I kept reading about these binary options overseas, the 1 minute binaries and how easy they were, and so I got some money together and joined Redwood, company called Redwood, and I put money in, and I started that particular night, and I was up like 1700 before I went to bed. The guy said, keep it on. This spot will trade for you all night long. And when I woke up in the morning, all my money was gone, and nobody answered the phone, and couldn't get anything. I was very interested in the trading process. After that loss, I looked at not legal, but I mean, looked at regulated things in America. I didn't want to be a penny stock guy. I didn't want to do options I did penny stocks. I still own a penny stock that actually just went up to $14 out of $250. But and then I'm scouring the internet, and I came across something called Jack signals and Dex signals. So I looked at Jacks, and they no longer exist right now, which is, I guess, great that I didn't get into them. And then I looked at you.
So the process of what led you to become a trader is that you were looking
to make
for
extra money,
some extra money,
right?
And you found a couple of systems out there that were relative to the binary options on how easy it was. It was easy to get in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's cool. So how did you find it? You just sort of alluded to it. How did you find us in the world? At what point did you run across the path of Dex signals?
It was on YouTube. It was an actual webinar that you had done, and then I had watched. It was like an hour and 5 minutes, and I'm like, well, this is interesting. This guy's pretty cool. He's pretty, seems to know what's going on. And Nadex, I did my research on Nadex, and that was a very reliable. It was it's already regulated, so can't get ripped off there. I'm sure I'll be able to take money out, and when I do win. But I still didn't quite, I wanted to do it on my own. So I entered the Nadex market, tried it on my own with a couple free strategies, and again, lost my butt. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to make the commitment in August. I finally said, okay, I'm going with Dex. Because you guys seem to be I looked at Apex, and that just was too complicated for me. And Dex seemed really, really simple and straightforward. You're going to give me a signal, and I'm going to trade the signal. Great. And then when I did get into that, then I wanted to learn how to do those signals, and that's when I joined indicators, and then the rest is history.
Right. Sort of just fed you into your thirst for knowledge. So far, what I'm hearing is that you started out looking for something more, something that needed to be easy, needed to be flexible, because you work all different types of hours and days.
Right.
That you used YouTube or Google or what have you to find a process. One of the things that I've also noticed about you is that you are incisive when it comes to getting to the knowledge of how to do something and to get in to do it. That you have a want and a will to learn and build your own way about the way that you do trading, the way you have what I've learned from who you are and what you've become. And I think there is a strong mentality of a lot of people that are nodding their heads right now going, that's basically my story.
Right.
Okay. So the next question is, how have you grown as a trader since you have been here at Dex? I know it's kind of crazy, but
we just talked about that. We just talked about that last night or this morning. When I started with the company, and I probably was the biggest pain in the ass and the biggest thorn in Max's side. I didn't believe this. I couldn't get into this trade, this and that, and the whole 9 yards. And finally, he just said to me, I think it was a process of he was going to kick me out, but he said to me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to be a full-time trader. And he said, will you listen to me? And I said, yes, I will. And the rest is history. So I have grown exponentially from August until today. I didn't know a stochastic from a support and resistance line, back then. And now, well, I still don't, but I understand a lot more about trading, I make my mistakes just like everybody else, but I've gone through this entire process, and I have to say, with all the education, now it wasn't when I first started, it wasn't free. It's actually free now, which is fantastic. But I went through every piece of everything I could find on how to make myself better with the company. And from August to today, it's like night and day. Wouldn't you say so,
So
Max?
I absolutely. I mean,
Hmm.
I think that you have grown as a trader. Um, I think originally you you came into the concept of where you were looking for something to be easy, to fit into your schedule, fit into your process. I think what you had to learn and how you have grown as a trader is that you've learned that there's nothing out there that will fit. You have to fit it, and you have learned how to fit it into who you are and into your life. And I
Hmm.
think that's one thing that a lot of other traders can agree with, that they have started to see and started to feel with, but also that there is a tremendous amount of traders that haven't reached to that level, that are still nodding and shaking their head no, that I still need to go down that line. If you're watching this after the fact, you might be one of those people that are like, I'm still doubting, I'm still kind of trying to find the easy road into it, all that kind of stuff. So, and I commend you on allowing yourself to learn this process, because that was the most difficult part. Because when you first came to us, Mike, you were fighting not us, you were fighting yourself. You were fighting
Oh,
your own
absolutely.
doubts, your own
Hmm.
insecurities.
Yep.
And I had to stop you. And I wasn't going to kick you out. I was going to allow you to writtle in your own demise at that point, because there's nothing I could do to help somebody. You know how, like they say, you can't help somebody until they want to help themselves, right? It's absolutely freaking true.
It's almost to the
You
point
as
where I reached rock bottom in the trading market, and I said, "I'll listen to this guy because he knows what he's doing. He owns the company. He wants to help me. I'm going to listen." And whatever he told me to do, I did, and that's the truth,
I
you
just
know.
asked you what I just asked you to get out of your own way. That's all. I
Hmm.
just wanted you to stop fighting yourself,
Please,
allow
just can I
yourself to trade
stop, Max?
something.
Because you know it's not that it wasn't that easy. You really worked with me, and you really spent the time with me, and I really did appreciate it. And you made me the trader I am today, and I'm very thankful for what you did at the time. I really thought I was getting kicked out of the company, and you picked me up, and you really worked with me. And any questions I ever had, you were right there. And and then we started testing systems together, and I was relentless with that. I wanted to, because you did for me, I wanted to do for you. And I was just a beast with all the data that I try to get you.
Well, what you have become is not just a simple trader. You become a partner and a senior level two trader, but you've become more of a teacher yourself now. If you've noticed, if
Hmm.
the consults that you do, the process you've done. So I'm very proud of you. You worked very hard. I can only take credit for the things that I've helped you
Do
to
you remember what you
visualize
said
within
to me?
yourself. So
You said, when
what's
I
that?
do
I
this
lost
for
you.
you, will you pay it forward? And I agreed 100% that I'd pay it forward. And I think I have with the people I've come across.
Oh yeah, there's no measure there. So let's get on. Um, what do you feel as a trader? Because this is the toughest part, right? Once you get to a point where you're like at a level, you're
Hmm.
like, I don't need to grow anymore. This is great. I love this. I can do what I want. But what do you feel you still need to reach to your success? What do you feel like are you lacking anything? It doesn't have to be something. We're not looking to fill a hole here of a problem, but is this something that you still feel like there's something missing for your success?
I do and I don't. Like last night was an aha moment for me, and I still can't believe I have aha moments with this company. And last night when you did that live trade in the room for all the Dex Indicators people, and what we're doing in the 5 minute MDM was incredible. I mean, or excuse me, on Monday night, and it opened up another avenue. Where we have like 3 different ways we can trade. Now we have 4 different ways we can trade, and that
Right.
and it might be the most successful way of all, when it's all said and done. And that's just incredible. You never stop learning.
Right.
I've learned something new every day coming in contact with you, whether it be social media or learn how to do this or that. I mean, it's always an aha with me. It's crazy. But
So you
I can
feel
learn every day. I still need more knowledge, more of this, more of that, everything you have to throw at me.
still need some more cowbell. That's okay.
Yes, yes.
The concept of your success and anybody's success, even watching this after the fact, is that in answering this question leaves yourself open to a few things. Some people get into that content mode where
Hmm.
I don't need anything more. I feel like I'm successful and I don't need anything more. Um, you do still need work. Everybody still needs work. I
Yep.
still get aha moments. My aha moments actually, believe it or not, come from all of you. Everybody that's in the market who's trading, the people that I come in contact with every day, the the companies that I come in contact with today, I learn from them what not to do in some cases. Do I get frustrated? Hell yeah, I get frustrated. Do I make mistake? Absolutely. But my success is never is never a detail of what I need. Because I'm already successful. But maintaining success, maintaining your momentum, your drive is always about what you said. Always learning, always taking the next level, always getting and trying to find the aha in what's been stated. There's not always going to be an aha. There's not always a life-changing, oh my God, this is going to be the biggest thing ever. It might be a tiny little tweak. The biggest ahas come from the tiniest little ticks.
Yep.
There's little things that you go, it's that light switch that gets popped on. That doesn't take much. Just a little finger and a light switch goes on, right? And it can power an entire thing. A button push, a thought, a mentality, a vision. It could be anything. Sometimes it could be reading a little bit in a book, getting the drive. It's almost a daily feature for most people. Is what do you feel that you need every day to drive your success becomes almost habitual. You find that you're in need of it, and when you fall from it, when you sit on your own, if you don't learn how to drive your own need to what you need to find for your daily success and to drive that success, then you're going to be left wanting all the time. And I think that's where a lot of traders begins to falter, is that they forget that it's not Max Farrow driving them. Okay? It's not these webinars that are driving them daily. It's the destinational points. That's what the webinars are. They're to help you realize that you already have all the power you got to drive your success every single day. I can only bring it out of you. I can only give you the tool and hope to God that you don't hit yourself in the head with it. You know what I mean? But for the most part, all of you already have this power to figure this stuff out. That's basically all the questions I had in the network for the traders. I want everybody in the room to at least try to get through those questions as well. There's an extra one on the sheet as well, and I can even ask this for Mike too. What do you still feel as a DEX company, and even being a partner now, what do you feel we are still in need of? Do you feel like there's anything that we still need as a company to be able to help?
No, I mean, you have conformed. We talked about this again this morning. You conformed since I started with the company. The things that I wanted to see as a trader has slowly been implemented over the 6 months I've been here, and it's fantastic. And the biggest one is everybody wants to see live. I want to see you trade live. I don't believe that you can do that until I can actually see it, and we've done that. And I think the more we do on that, the more the people will get their aha moments watching us do the trades and basically, I call it Dex University. Whatever I can learn, I'm a guy that I can't read it. I have to see it. If I can see it, and that's what you guys are doing. Everything you must make instructional videos at least 5 a week. You know what I mean? And that's fantastic. That's what I feel that this company is strong at. And if you can't go and watch a video and not being able to do it after that, then I don't know what to say after that. You take the time. Exactly. Well, I didn't want to say that, but you take the time to make it easier. You really do. I mean, your mission statement is true. You make the difficulties or whatever it is. Help me with that.
There's a couple different versions of it, but
right.
You're on the right path. So you feel more trading live, more process. See, I've always been under the assumption that live videos, trading, and trying to enforce how I physically trade, I always get worried that because I've learned all these different methods, stripping somebody back to a point where they have to start with the simple. Once I start to apply the simplicity of trading, because here's the funny thing, guys. The training that we provide is really like a boot camp. It is to strip you of all the nonsense that's out there back to a level that you need to listen to the rhythm, the base structure of trading, how the market moves, how the market gets affected, how Forex is applied, the movement of that human psychological battle that happens every day, you'll get to see and feel that once you start stripping it back to these 5-minute trades and even down to the lower stuff, and begin to use the signals and use the process and get 100, 200, 300, 400 trades in you, you get that rhythm. But I have that rhythm inside of me all the time now. So when I trade at these levels, it's almost like, well, I can just follow the signal and do exactly what he did, and I'll just look at that and then see that. And then I always get worried that I'm going to sort of broadcast sort of advanced training without then going to the proper training. You know what I mean? And or convince. I'm always worried about convincing somebody to get into trading because I make it look too easy, right? and that's why I put it in the hands of other people like yourself. And I'm going to be reaching out to some of the seniors here over the next couple of days, and in the next week. People like Brad Beckham, who just made senior. Congratulations. To Tim H., who is not in this particular webinar, might be watching this after the fact, I don't know, that we're going to be reaching into his time as well to help us with that process. So I appreciate your honest answers. Everybody that's in the room and everybody that's watching this after the fact, make sure when you're answering that last question there of what can we do to better the company, be real. Right? Mm-hmm. Don't be disrespectful with the fact that, well, I need more winning signals or something silly like that. You know, but ask, find out what you really need there. I mean, we created DEX signals, we created DEX indicators because the people told us they wanted indicators. We created DEX Trader because people told us that they wanted something more as far as ease of use and they wanted more data. We had to separate it all to make it ease of use, but now we're looking for what are the finite things that each one of them can have. So come from your perspective, think out of the box, think out of your own comfort zone, and answer honestly in that process, and we will listen. That's the other thing with the companies, you have to listen. You can teach people as much as you want, but I'm only teaching you what things that I've learned, and the things that I'm learning about all of you, I can build and make better. Mike, thanks a lot for partaking in that. I want you to stick around with me. We're going to talk some more because we're going to talk about some other cool things. We're going to talk about the tools. A couple of things that I notice a lot of people when they first begin to trade, they're always like, what are the tools you have? What indicators you got? What's your strategy? What's your process, right? Most people don't realize that there is a strong value of tools that are given to you and one second, are given to you, and you don't even realize what they are because you carry them around with you all day. You understand? You carry them around with you all day long because most traders, when they first start out, they forget that the tools that they have that are the most important are your eyes. You have to look. You have to be aware of certain things that are happening. You have to have a discipline about you. This is one of your biggest tools, is a discipline. And if you don't have the discipline and the awareness, okay, you're going to get hurt. It's like swimming in a pool of sharks, if you will. If you're not paying attention, if you're not doing the right things, you will get eaten in this market. Okay, I'm going to switch you over here to our DEX Trader charts. So I want to show you just a few things here. Okay, hang on one second. Now on our DEX Trader charts, we have a couple things happening, right? Mike, you see the screen?
Yes.
So I'm going to pop this out of its little shell here, thanks to our friends over at TradingView. I'm going to open this wide up, and I want to try to open up a little wider. I want people to look at this chart. Now, this has nothing to do with MetaTrader, has nothing to do with anything else. This is a chart. It's a real-time chart from our friends over at TradingView. Thank you very much. But I want you to kind of look at this process here. And I'm going to remove the volume one even. I want you to really look. And if I scroll back here and grab this macro look, it's on a 15-minute scale. Can anybody in the room tell me which direction is this thing going overall? What do we got here? Just an uptrend or a downtrend? Anybody in the room? Up, up, up. Everybody? Okay. Everybody sort of agrees with that, right? Everybody sort of sees that ease of use of a trend, right? And we know that a trend is a trend going up, not just because of the common sense. This is a common sense view of a trend, but when the highs, okay, because remember, it goes up and comes down a little bit, comes up, comes down a little bit, comes up, comes down a little bit. When the highs are always getting higher and the lows are always getting higher, that's an uptrend, right? If I were to pull back the vision of this so you couldn't see the actual time frame, you couldn't tell me what time frame this chart was compared to what this chart was. You couldn't tell me that this was a 1-minute chart compared to this is a 15-minute chart. The only reason you can tell right now is because you see me clicking on the 1-minute and the 15-minute. But if I had scaled this back enough to where you were looking at a particular amount of time, let's just say 60 bars, right? And 60 bars in a 15-minute chart, what, like 4 hours or something like that? Where in a 1-minute chart, it's 60 minutes. But over a 60-bar chart, you could actually see a value of high lows and highs and getting into these valleys and hills. And this concept of trading, okay, you're not going to take trades with this value just yet. You need something else to happen, right? Can anybody tell me what else needs to happen from that position? We refer to this as price level trading. And you need to have something happen in this mentality is called an event, right? We have to see an event happen. Now, a couple of things can be considered an event. An event can be a crossover on an indicator, a signal in a process, right? A signal, whether SR max, dailies, or whatever it might be. It could be a news release. It could be basically anything. It could be an arrow on the 5-minute. It could be a signal in the SR max or an intraday or something, right? But the first thing that all of you should be doing, whether or not you're trading, sorry for 1 second. It doesn't matter if you're trading in a program or what. If you had a signal that came out something like that, okay, and you're looking at this chart, and you don't really have, because you're on a 1-minute chart, and this signal just came out, the value of this being an event is important to you because you now have to adjust whether or not this is something that a signal you would take, a confirmation, if you will, a value of trading. Whether or not this is a 1 hour or a 15-minute chart doesn't really matter, does it? Because you're looking at a potential of protecting your investment, your risk. And so what you have to do is find out what the commons are. The common is where, because this market's being traded by humans, right? To a degree. There's a lot of companies out there that have computers trading at these levels, but they trade at these psychological levels of getting in and getting out at certain price levels because that's when people get scared that it's getting too close or they got working orders on it, whatever it might be, right? But just for the potential of this video, I want to quickly show you that if you're on a 1-minute chart and you're trading for a 5-minute series, and this happens to come out right at the 5-minute, we didn't put it on the 5 alarms. Let's just see if I can do that here. Right there, okay? And if this came out as a signal, you could do what we refer to as an ATM, and you could go right at the price, right? You could jump over to Nadex, get into the price, and, well, not on this one because it's the yen, right? We need the AUD USD. So let me do that here real quick. AUD USD. Okay. Put the arrow right there again. Okay. We did something like this, and you wanted to get onto a 5-minute trade, and the arrow came out here. You could go at the ATM, but we're talking about price level. We're looking at confirmation. Is this a good trade to get into? Well, if you went straight here at the time that it was released, yeah, you can look at it as a potential to get into, and you can play with the drawdown. But if you're doing price level trading, what you're going to do is you're going to come back to a level of a high or low. And as you see, as the last 60 bars is dictated, this is an uptrend happening. We have an up arrow. And in my book, when I'm looking, using my eyes, using my observations, I'm looking for consistencies in the value, right? So it's going up, it's pointing up. I have a point here of a low. If the lows are getting higher each time, if I put a working order here, or a process that the prices come down to this point, and this is the event that's being called, then I can come down here at 7673 and put an order in for the delivery of a signal, right? If this was an event. If you're using a 15-minute chart and an event happens, let's say it's the SR Max, and the SR Max says, oops, not to go sideways. Okay. The SR Max says to come in, and the SR Max will give you a price, but it will also give you availability to get out. But observing these times, if you're on an intraday or if you're on a daily, there's other processes. That event now, because we use things called choke ups in the dailies, you can do those choke ups also on intradays, not that we suggest it, but there's other values to look at as you're doing those particular trades. But the very first thing that one of the biggest tools that you have is observance of the actual market and what it's doing, and understand what it looks like at certain times when it's doing it. You have to become very proficient at that. And this is the one thing that a lot of traders falter on, is that they forget that the indicators are second. The event is second. The first thing that has to happen is that you have to determine what the market is. The stability of the market can be visualized as a direction, right? You have three types of directions. You have up, you have down, and you have sideways. Can anybody in the room tell me, is a sideways market dangerous to trade? Is it more dangerous to trade than a trend market, or going up or down market? Because you just don't know. You don't know which way it's going. Now there's some say, well, in a trending market, you don't know what's going to return. Well, yeah, you do in some cases. Certain events happen. This is why we can look at a trade, we can look at a market, we can look at a chart, just by no indication whatsoever is on this chart. You see, there's no indicators on this chart. And if I'm on a 15-minute series, I can easily look back and see that it had some, this might be news related or what have you, but the overall value of the market, the more I scope back, will tell me where's my direction going, right? I can also do different time frames, kind of help me. Where's this market overall going? Okay, now we're getting a little bit crazy with dailies, but you get the picture. In the market, we call this doing a top-down analysis of where's the market trending to. But when you get down to the final, when you get down to the 1-minute chart, it's almost like you're at the micro level of trading at this point. I'm gonna have to turn it off. We're gonna have to get to that point. Okay, so the micro side of trading at this level is the same as the macro side. Okay, but the more you scroll back, the more vision you'll see. At what points does it bounce off of certain areas? What highs to highs? What lows to lows? And you get that sense of the trade. Sorry, folks. Mike, you still there? Mike? No?
No, I'm here.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I just wanted to make sure that somebody wasn't calling me to tell me that, hey, all the sound's off. All right, so the biggest tool that you have available, of course, is your own determination of what the market is, right? The indicators, the values, the events, all these things that happen are only second. So being able to validate those particular events first comes from seeing how the market is applied to your system, right? To your trade. Trading from this process of doing price level trading instead of ATM trading is not for everybody. Some of you like to trade at the ATM. Some of you like to trade at the
I got to see
wow.
one of those, Max, out of the two you made, and it was excellent. It really, I mean, people need to see those.
Right. Yes, no, that well, they are there. I mean,
Mhm. Yes.
they're on the YouTube channel, but it's for mostly for
Gotcha.
the
On
process
the,
online.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, he's blowing up my phone now too. So whoever's calling me from an 843 number is very persistent.
Hmm.
He's calling on every single line. There is a strong system for the ATMs called surviving the drawdown,
Hmm.
and even trading at price level, you can still do those things. You can act trading from the price levels of a 30/70 working order process as well. But again, being deck signals and dex trader, following the signals themselves is secondary, right? Primarily enough, you have to learn how to read price action of a value of trend. You know, is a market in an up or a decline, or is it staying steady, right? Now, guess what, folks? Trading a market that is sideways, whereas is dangerous to some in the right hands, if you see the vision behind it, can be very profitable. And can anybody tell me why a ranged market, sideways market, can be profitable to some? Anybody in the room tell me? A trusty pen out here. Anybody? Nobody. Okay.
Bueller.
Start the right. I'll start the right. It's called a range trade because one of the things about knowing if a price will stay between a top and a bottom, guess what? A sell trade, a buy trade.
Is that like a
It's
spread,
called a
Max?
hedge. It's sort of like a spread, not like a spread on Nadex, but it
Right.
is I refer to it as a hedge trade, right? It's a condor trade, iron
Hmm.
condor.
Yep. Yep.
It's called whatever else you want, right? Whatever else it can be referred to as in your world. But in my case, what I'm looking at is that if I have a good enough price action here, okay, on either side of this, I can then depict that it's going to be at that point. And this is where a lot of the value of the range itself, once it's depicted, once it does certain things, this can be very powerful, right? So if we know that it's going to be between one side to another. But again, this is more advanced training and advanced trading that you're not going to get to until you have 2 or 3,000, 4,000 trades underneath your belt. You're not going to be able to sit down and if you can't visualize the range because you can't even see the trend or where the trend sort of stalls out, and it all really depends on the time frame. It depends on the news collapse. It depends on a lot of little tiny things for it to come into a range process here, and that takes more indication training. That takes more rhythm training than anything else. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's jump on to the next part. I'm going to talk about this today because it is important that you all know what's about to happen. We have a part of the company called XFX World that we're going to use as our foot in the door, if you will, of the Forex world, okay, Forex trading world. Now, the reason why we didn't originally get into Forex is because there's a lot of regulation to providing signals and all that stuff for the Forex world, where she's awake, where she's barking at something, where the process of being with Nadex is regulated, of course, but the availability to give signals for it doesn't affect the actual market. So we wanted to be able to provide training, but not so much for the actual trading of the Forex market, but about the different components within the Forex market. Of course, Japanese candles, candle simulations, charting, news understanding, news trading, all the little different variances and what different things affect the Forex market. So we're creating this XFX world because we want to provide these things because as all DEX signals, DEX trader and DEX indicators, you're all still affected by Forex because Forex affects Nadex in its considerations, okay, and its speculation. So knowing what these things are is very, very, very important. There is a lot to be said to know what the different candle variations are. You know, from engulfing candles to spinning tops to shooting stars to hammers, whatever else you want to call them. There's a million and one different things that can happen when these type of candles show up. Okay? Variances of markets, how they drop, how they return, the Fibonacci. There's just so many different little things within that market. And again, we're not going to pile all this onto you. But as you stripped yourself back to beginning as a trader from taking the complicated to very, very simple, you can slowly add tidbits of information on and things that will begin to show you what the market is, okay, and when to avoid. You know, you'll get more information as we go. So we're going to apply news, and I'm going to be doing a market watch release just about every day on all 10 pairs, the main big pairs, and that's going to go out every day. And we're going to be doing some videos too of different trading processes that we're going to be doing and showing how the market and doing what I refer to as the market analysis of the next 24 hours and where this market's going to go. So we're going to be applying that through like a DEX TV kind of process and videozation through its own YouTube channel. Now, some of the news, some of the videos, and of course, some of the training, you're going to see put onto the DEX Trader Network. And you're going to see some of this training and posts and articles that are going to be brought to you by XFX World because it's going to be about that. You know, the Japanese candles. It's going to be about, you know, everything we can do about charting, all of it. We're also going to be looking at creating some other trading communities in there that people can actually have a chance to go in and meet with other traders that are in the Forex world as well. But I'm going to warn you, we're going to be talking about some very nasty businesses and companies out there as well with our reviews and a few other things. So just keep that in mind. You're going to have some people that are going to come back at us, and you're going to have people that are going to try to sell you on things if you're going to get there. You know, because there's everybody and their mother is going to want to try to get you into their program, and we're going to really moderate that process and investigate all these companies that are going to be coming to us. So this is what's headed. This is the next generation of trading systems for us through learning what the FX market is and how it affects our world.
Exciting.
Yes, it is. And it's because we have created such, I mean, we get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people coming to us a week. And I say hundreds and hundreds because a lot of people come to us for our free training. Lots and lots and lots of people. And when a lot of people ask us, do you have any Forex training? Do you provide Forex information? When we see this happening, of course, what do? We get into the pulse of it. And of course, this leads me into the final thought of how do we grow? And not only as being, you know, a process for me personally, how do I grow? Is I listen. That's how I grow. I don't grow from people yelling at me to do so or forcing me to do a particular thing. I listen to myself. I listen to others. I listen to the things that don't feel right to me. I listen to the things that feel right to me. I listen to the people I trust. I listen to the people that I don't trust as well, because they provide me a method that I refer to as resolve, which means that those people that you trust can help steer you into the things that you want to become, and you can listen to them. Those that you don't trust that are yelling at you to do certain things and not do certain things and be this person or be that person, you're also getting information from, and I learn what not to do from those people. So how do we grow? Simply, we listen. You have to listen to yourself. What works for you, what doesn't work for you. The reason why we don't have a one-size-fits-all program, folks, is because there's not just one size of trader out there. Brad Beckham says it beautifully in there, human data. I'm a data hound. I provide data from all sorts of processes. Human data is probably one of the biggest because I've learned a lot from all of you. I've learned a lot from Mike. I learned a lot from people like Jim Frickson and Dave Amos and a tremendous amount of people that I've known for a long time. You all have a way of growing. But the one thing you should all do is listen, not just to yourself, but to others as well. You get a tremendous amount of feedback. You don't always have to respond because the act of listening and hearing, really hearing, is really listening. And there's a difference. You can hear somebody, but you may not listen to them. I want you to find somebody to listen to. It doesn't have to be me. It could be a guru, it could be your wife or husband or friend or foe or what have you. But find somebody and really listen to what they say. You don't have to respond and you don't have to react, but you should at least listen. You'll find that you'll grow just a little bit more. Lastly, what's your backup? Everybody has a plan. Everybody wants to have a plan. Everybody wants to follow somebody into their plan. Everybody wants to be something, whether or not you want to be more or be satisfied with who you are or what have you. But everybody, for damn sure, better have a backup plan. And not so much what happens if this doesn't work. What happens if it may not work for you? What is your backup plan? What is your plan to say, okay, I put some time into this. I don't think it's right for me. I have to move on. Find your plan. Find your exit strategy. Or what's your backup plan? All this does work for you. And I mean backup plan by holy crap. I got into this because I need to quit my job and I want, because a lot of you said that to me when we first started talking. I don't know how many of you get that, Mike, when I asked them, you know, what is your ultimate goal? And everybody's like, oh, I want to quit my job and I want to work from home and I want to wear sweatpants all day. Okay, maybe not everybody said that. Maybe I said that.
Hey, I got mine on.
All right, I want my TV dinner in front of my TV and I don't want to do nothing else. Hey, I'm right there with you, right? But the idea too is that once that happens, once you get to a degree of, hey, this is a success for me, I need to start trading live, I need to get my money, I need to make it happen and be consistent. What happens when that happens? That's your backup plan, because let me tell you, a lot of you don't even have the beginning plan. You don't even have the backup plan. You don't even have a beginning plan. So your beginning plan is to get there. Your backup plan is to survive it once you do. Because working from home is not always the thing. Like, you've been doing it for a while. You've been working for yourself for a long period of time.
Wouldn't have any other, to be honest with you. I mean, all the fears of not making enough money have subsided with me, but this is a new venue and a new avenue of what I'm doing, and we always joke, oh, it was the road, the commute to work this morning was ridiculous. It was like 26 steps, and you know, um, it's it's good not to have to wear a suit and not to answer to anybody, and it gives you a sense of freedom. Definitely.
It does. It does. It does. It does. And somebody said to me a couple of weeks ago about failure, and everybody has their own things that, hey, you used to do this and you used to do this. You should be really going back and fixing all the things you did from before. If I tried to go back and fix all the things that were broken before that caused failure for me, I'd be going a million years trying to repair everything. I have to learn from those failures, and I have. I've worked very hard to get through those failures. Whether or not it was a failure for my fault or somebody else or sabotage or whatever it was, whatever excuse was there for the failure, one thing remains true, and I wrote it on the screen, is that I never give up.
Amen.
And if you're going to work from home, if you're going to work for yourself, if you're going to get to your goal, your backup plan better be this. Got it? Your backup plan, that if you decide to put your foot into your house, don your common suits of sweatpants and wife beater t-shirts and sit in your house and trade, and this is who you become. Put a suit on and sit in your basement with your 45 screens, whatever it might become for you. The moment you decide that you're going to do that, you better come with this as your main motto for your plan, is to never give up. Because if you have a doubt, if you have a worry that you can't do it, sorry, Roy Rogers, you're probably right. You have to become solidified in the understanding that you are here to make it happen, and there's nothing going to get into your way. So we know it takes hard work. We know it takes time. The only thing that's missing is this particular motto for you. So what's your backup? The answer is you don't back up. You keep moving forward. You never give up, and you never give in. Mike, thanks a lot for hanging out with me today, man.
Oh, my pleasure,
Thanks a
man.
lot for doing the interview there. I really appreciate that. I'm going to isolate that in its own little video.
Sure.
I'm going to get out there to everybody. Because I want other people to hear it. For those of you here that listen to Mike talk for a few moments about what he went through, he's just like you. Christ, he's just like me. We all started with that propensity to try to search for something more, and we were in that search, and we found each other. I found that I didn't like this industry. I found that I wanted to get even in this industry, and my brother Brian came along because he knew that he didn't like this industry either, and he could expose it for what it was. My best friend Amy Kuipers, who has turned out to be one of the most prized possessions of all my time, and of course Paul and a lot of other people, even Tim W. in the room, a lot of people who have worked very hard, Brad Beckham, Dan, everybody in the room that has taken on a level of consistency that is bar none the top. I can't thank you enough. For all of you watching this after facts, thanks a lot for getting to this part of the video. And of course, see you in the next one, and trade well. Everybody else in the room, stick around. We'll do it. Questions and answers. Take care.